can definitely recommend it to anyone. Going abroad all by yourself or even with a friend, it creates new perspectives for you and it boosts your independence and confidence as well. And it definitely equips you with new life skills going to another country, especially so far away and so different.
Welcome to the show, Canadians Work and Travel Abroad, a podcast by Go International Work and Travel Providers about all things to do with working and traveling overseas. I'm Tamsin Plaxton, host of the show and founder of Go International. I'm also an avid international traveler. Hi, welcome back to Canadians Work and Travel Abroad. I'm Tamsin Plaxton, host of the show, and I'm excited to be joined today by someone down under. Today on the show, I'm talking with Laura, we get this right, Borgist. Is that right,
Yeah,
Laura?
right.
Laura Borgist. And Laura is the office manager of the Work and Travel Company offices in Sydney, Australia. So I guess it's good morning to you, evening here.
Yeah, pretty much. Good morning.
Oh, great. So, Laura, we've been working with your company for a long time, and I think have a long history and a great relationship. And we've sent lots of Canadians there. And I think a lot of Canadians many Canadians still want to go to Australia. I think it's the dream of a lot of Canadians to spend either a summer holiday or a year or up to a few years working and traveling in Australia. So, can you tell us a little bit about the company to start? Your company's called the Work and Travel Company. When did it start, and what's the history of the company been?
Yeah, so the Work and Travel Company was established in 2002. And basically, what we've always been about was welcoming international working holiday makers into Australia and assisting them on a working holiday in terms of travel as well as jobs. And that's through a number of different working travel packages that we offer and that are bookable through you guys, our agents, just as you guys go international.
Okay. So what are the packages that you offer?
So the basic service is always the same. We offer a 12-month membership. Basically, you can imagine like a club. And we're there throughout the whole time on their visa, whether they just want to stay for a couple of months or the whole 12 months. And the basic package is always the same. But then there's also packages where you can have your whole first week in Australia planned out with a really cool itinerary in Sydney, for example, and get to know other people who are in the same boat who just came from another country and also just want to meet people and make some connections and then maybe even go traveling together afterwards or go work together first.
So in both those packages, the one where you're supporting them and the one where they have the week of sort of entertainment and travel and adventure before they get into the job search, in both of those packages, a big part of your services is helping people get jobs. I mean, I think Canadians, obviously, one of the key factors there is they're looking for help probably finding accommodation, getting a job, and getting information about just general stuff about Australia, living, working, traveling. Let's talk a little bit about the job search process. How does that work for a participant?
Yeah, well, it all starts about 21 days prior to arrival when we send out our welcome emails. And that's where they receive essentially their first job assistance because we send them instructions on how to open their Australian bank account for free through us. So they have that ready to go when they arrive in Australia. And then as soon as they get to Australia and check in, they would receive their Australian SIM card and a welcome letter. And the next day, we hold a welcome orientation for them where we tell them about everything that we can offer to them, how we can help them find jobs, what are the best ways to find jobs in Australia, what are typical backpacker jobs. And we also tell them about our in-house labor hire agency, job agency, where essentially they can just let us know when they're available for work and what they're looking for. And then we will do our best to place them into jobs through our company directly. And these jobs really vary. These can be any sort of jobs. It really depends on the individual. Some people just want to, pick up a few shifts and then go traveling. Other people, they want to concentrate on work first. And then we obviously help them find a job rather than just a couple of shifts. We find them a job a bit more long term, maybe a month or two or even longer. And then after that, we can also assist them while they're finding work while they're traveling.
And so when you talk about the job placement agency and then that in-house department of your company helping people get work, what kind of service does that look like? Are you sending out resumes for them? Or are you just giving them leads? How does that work?
Both. So Through the job agency, our job desk actually consists of two parts. So we have on one hand the job agency, on the other hand, we have an online job board where we post jobs that are being sent to us or that we find somewhere that are suitable to backpackers, and they can go through an application process themselves. So they can search our job board, and if they're interested in something, they can apply. And then the job agency is more, we work directly with employers in both Sydney and Melbourne, and they call us up whenever they need workers, and they know our concept and they know about the backpackers and they love them. So they call us up when they need workers so we can then offer these jobs to our members and they can be placed directly and work as soon as possible.
That's great. I mean, I think for a lot of people, just getting that help, finding the first job is so critical because without that
Absolutely.
help, you can kind of be going in the wrong direction and finding jobs that don't pay enough or aren't necessarily enjoyable. And you don't have a
Yeah.
lot of options and you need to make money fast often to pay your rent. And yeah, so that's great.
And then that's actually a really good point that you're making there about getting paid enough. That's also something that we're there for. We're telling everyone, even if you don't find a job through us and you go out yourself and find a job that's great, please come talk to us whenever you want to so we can make sure that you're getting paid correctly and everything. And it's all going the way it's supposed to go. So we're definitely always here to
Great.
assist with that
So
as well.
you're like advisors and sounding board to make sure they're not getting taken advantage of as a
Yeah,
foreign worker.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kinds of employers that you partner with, what are the typical employers and typical jobs that you see most participants getting?
Oh, it really varies. Obviously, most of our participants, or not most of them, but a lot of them, they come straight out of high school. They don't have much experience. And also, most of them, they do not want to work for too long, just like a certain amount of time, just so they can save enough money to go traveling. So most of these jobs would be rather low experience, which is great because anyone can just jump in there quickly, make some money, and leave whenever they need to. And a lot of these jobs are in hospitality. We've got some really popular jobs on boats in Sydney Harbour, which is really cool, especially if you're not from Sydney. Working in Sydney Harbour along the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge, that's a really nice job. And a lot of our members end up working on boats, for example. We've got some ambassador jobs, traveling the cities and handing out free samples of products. That's also a really popular job among our members. Because they
Cool.
really get to know the city.
Yeah, that's right. And then you also have employers in Melbourne as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
So most Canadians would be probably traveling alone and maybe a little nervous about making friends. Tell me about how you guys support that in terms of connecting them.
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, we have the welcome orientation. That's what we call it, which is basically a presentation about everything they need to know when they first arrive. And that's also usually the first time they get together with a group of people who arrive at a similar time as them and who are in the same boat. That's always a great way to meet people. Then our office is a walk-in office. So our members, as I said, you can imagine it like a club. Our members are always welcome in the office whenever they want to come in. And they like to use our computers to work on their CVs and we can assist them just in the office. So that's also kind of a hub for them to get together. And of course, on top of that, we offer social events as well that we organize to get everyone together. So no one feels left out.
That's great. Having activities is so helpful, I think, when people first arrive to make friends and get to know each other. And getting to know people, I guess they're getting to know people from all over the world because Australia
Absolutely.
receives people from all over the world. What are the countries that send the most people to your program, would you say?
That's a good question. I would definitely say we get a lot of people from Europe, especially people whose first language is not English and that live further away. So
So,
it really varies. We get people from Finland, from Sweden, from Denmark, from Italy, from France, from Belgium, a lot of places in Europe for sure.
yeah. I mean, your company's been around for such a long time and it has such a strong reputation. We're super happy to partner with you because we know that they're going to get great service, but they're also meeting people, so many people from all over the world. So they're not just going to connect with Australians and their jobs and when they're out, but they're also connecting with all these other working holiday makers. What kind of accommodation do you typically see Canadians taking when they get there at first and when they're settling in and working? Like, how do they find it? What does it look like?
Yeah. I'd say most of them, obviously, they start in a hostel environment in smaller dorms. And for a lot of people, that's a completely new experience. And a lot of people are often surprised how much they actually enjoy sharing their space with so many international travelers. I see a lot of people come here and they're really shy and overwhelmed by the new environment just at first. And then they come to realize that it's actually so much fun. And I would say most people actually in the end refrain from finding apartment accommodation instead of the hostel environment because they just enjoy it so much.
So let's talk about the work permit. So the students apply through us. We give them support in getting their work permit to get there. And there are certain conditions about getting a second year. And can you explain about that?
That's really popular. There's a lot of detail that goes into it, but generally speaking, working travelers within their first year, they have the opportunity to complete at least 88 days of specified work in a regional area from Australia. Specified work is a really broad term. There's loads of information that goes into it, but generally speaking, it would be in a regional area, and it would likely be a farm. So some sort of job on a farm, whether that's fruit picking or on a horse farm or dairy farm. It really depends. There
Cheap
are also
stakes.
some areas, it all depends on the postcode. And there are some areas that are just very remote. For example, in Ireland or in the center of Australia, they also count towards the 88 days, of course, but they also include other industries rather than just the farm industry. For example, it could be tourism jobs or hospitality jobs on an island or in a center, and that
Yes.
would still count towards the 88 days. Once they complete the 88 days, they then have the chance to apply for their second year visa, so the second working holiday visa, and they can stay another year in Australia.
I see. So they're trying to incent people to go outside of the big cities by offering them a second year if they spend up to
Yeah.
88 days, so a little less than 3 months of their
Yes.
year, if they spend 3 months. And then the second year, of course, they obviously don't have to do any more rural work because they're on their
They
last.
don't have to. They actually have the opportunity to get a third year as well. If they then completed roughly 6 months and within their second year, then they can get a third year as well, which has also become more popular.
Right.
A lot of people actually really like the adventure that it brings with it, working on a farm. And a
Right.
lot of people end up working and staying on farms much longer than the anticipated 88 days.
Yeah. And years ago, when I went to Australia on a working holiday visa, I ended up working at Ayers Rock
Oh,
for
wow.
months. And I mean, talk about remote, that's like in the center of
Yeah.
Australia. And yeah, but it was an amazing. It's a small place. I worked at the Sheraton Hotel, but everybody got so close to each other because there wasn't a lot to do. We had to make fun. It was a fantastic experience. And living in a
Yeah.
desert with, yeah, no other Canadians went there at that time. So I was the only
Yeah.
Canadian. So it was great. I met a lot of interesting people. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
It would definitely be a very bonding
Yeah.
experience.
Now, is there a better time of year to arrive in terms of finding work or accommodation?
It really depends on the plan of each individual. I would say most people would arrive towards the end of winter or in early spring and then start working to save some money. I mean, it really depends. Does the individual want to go traveling right away? Where do they want to go traveling? Because Australia is a really big country and the climate is different everywhere. Or do they want to work first? If they want to work first, I'd probably recommend to come around August, September, around that time. And then they've got some time to ease into the new environment and find a new job or find a job. And then towards the summer, they can go traveling and enjoy the summer weather.
Yeah. What about the application process? What do you need from the applicants to be qualified for your program?
Anyone can join our program as long as they're eligible for a working holiday visa, so they can actually take full advantage of our product because we do want to help them with work. And obviously, if they don't have a working holiday visa, and they can't work in Australia. So that's pretty much the only requirement that we have for our candidates.
Any good stories, any good testimonials that you've heard from participants that come to mind?
Absolutely. There are so many. We really pride ourselves on the fact that we end up building really good relationships with our members and stay in contact with them even long after they found jobs through us and gone traveling through us. We find a lot of our members come back towards the end of their visa to just say thank you for all the help that we've given them and tell us about all their stories. Even if they don't come in for advice, they like to come in and tell us about what they've done. And I recently had a couple come in who came pretty much at the start of the relaunch, and they ended up traveling all around of Australia with their camper van, had an amazing time, sent us amazing pictures, and they actually ended up getting engaged on their travels.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What about yourself? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Germany, and I came to Australia about 6, almost 7 years ago, also on a working holiday visa. I was pretty much in the same shoes as our members nowadays. So they definitely remind me of the time when I came here and when I was a traveler and I didn't know anything about Australia and I had to find a job, and then how exciting it is to go traveling and all the new people that you meet and all the cultures that you get to know, because there are so many international travelers in Australia.
So, Laura, what we see is some Canadians will say to us, "Hey, I don't think I need to pay for a program with a provider in Australia. I can just go on my own. I'm going to get my visa and I'll just go and get a hostel. And I heard there's lots of jobs. I can get a job. So why would I pay a program for you?" What are the advantages or the reasons that you would say working with an organization like you and coming through Go International makes sense?
Yes. Oh, there's so many. I guess it all starts with arriving in the country. You don't really have to do too much preparation before you get here. And because all the information that you need to know is sent to you by the agency, you don't have to go to the internet and figure what's the right information that you should follow. And as soon as you arrive in the country, you don't have to worry about how do I even get to my accommodation. Your accommodation is already booked for you. Your airport shuttle is organized for you. They pick you up. And on top of that, I do understand that people say, why should I pay an agency? But actually, I think an agency also helps you to get really good deals because they're part of something bigger. So what I see a lot with dynamic prices at accommodation as well is that, for example, if you book through an agency, your nightly rate is a lot cheaper than if you were to book it by yourself as an individual. And then on top of that, you always have someone that you can rely on for anything, whether that's tax questions or questions regarding your SIM card or your bank card. Coming to Australia with an agency also provides you with a stable address. It all starts with applying for a tax file number. First of all, with an agency, you don't have to apply for a tax file number yourself. That's all handled for you. You don't have to worry about where you're going to get it sent to, whether you're going to be there when it arrives, because, as I said, you have the stable address for the agency.
And you're talking about your company when you talk about the agency. Yeah. So the work and travel company. Yeah. So that's right. I mean, they get to use your office as their permanent address. And until you have a permanent address, you can't get a social insurance number. And without that number, you can't get a job. So
Exactly.
yeah, it all starts with that, getting that tax number.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like really small things that most people probably don't keep in mind when they plan their travels. But even while you're traveling, while you're in different locations pretty much every day, it is really, really, really handy to have a stable address and have someone that you can rely on with anything. If anything ever goes wrong, you know you're not by yourself.
Yeah. So you're not the only company in Australia. There's a couple of more companies that do what you do and help receive, international travelers who are coming to work and travel in Australia. What would you say is different about your services?
Well, our service is unique in a sense that we provide assistance with both work and travel. Mostly you'll see agencies that either provide, like an intro week and they help you with your travels, or agencies that help you find a job, but you won't really find someone that does both the way that we do.
Great. Yeah. No, I mean, we get nothing but good feedback when we send Canadians to you. Everybody's happy, and the environment in your office is amazing. I love the videos that I've seen and the feedback I've heard from our participants. They just love the vibe in the office. There's so many young people there. Everybody's looking for work, coming in to hang out, make a coffee, meet friends. It's like a hub for everybody.
And I honestly have to say, we have such a great team. Everyone's really passionate about what they do. We have a few internationals that were in the same boat a couple of years ago, the same boat as our customers, the same boat as our members, I mean.
Yeah.
It's like I told you earlier about myself.
Yeah, that's right. So you know what everyone's going through. You can help them navigate it and help them get through homesickness if that's happening or anything like that. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Laura, is there anything you'd like to say to Canadians who might be thinking about coming? Any words of advice, any words of inspiration?
I can definitely recommend it to anyone. Going abroad all by yourself or even with a friend, it creates new perspectives for you and it boosts your independence and confidence as well. And it definitely equips you with new life skills going to another country, especially so far away and so different.
Yeah, so true. Puts a lot of people, it really changes their life. It opens their mind and it gives them such a different perspective. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much for joining me. I know it's your busy work morning and I really appreciate having this time to chat. And I look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thanks so much for having me. I do too.
Well, that's all for this episode of Canadians Work and Travel Abroad. I'm Tamsin Plaxton, and thanks for joining us. We would love to hear from you, so if you have feedback or ideas of other topics you would like us to cover in new episodes, please contact us. Our email address is programs, programs, programs @gointernational.ca. And if you want to learn more about the programs we currently offer, please visit our website, www.gointernational.ca. And in order to help us find more Canadians and share this information, please like and review this podcast. We want to get the word out. Thanks so much.